Hey meat freaks, thanks for stopping by the MotherPorkers barbecue team channel. I'm Jared. Today we're going to fire up my Ugly Jump smoker. We're going to toss on some pork steaks, something that most people have never actually had because they're kind of a St. Louis only thing and we're in St. Louis. So we're going to show you guys how we like to spice them up, we're going to smoke them, and then we're going to simmer them. So stay tuned. Now there's two schools of thought when it comes to pork steaks. One of those is that you get your Weber or whatever kind of grill you have and you get that baby rocking hot on one side and a cool zone on the other. And you sear the living snot out of it direct, and then you place it indirect till it's done cooking. And then there's the other way here in St. Louis, and that's kind of what we're doing. We're going to slow cook them. In this case, we're going to smoke them, and then simmer them in sauce until they're absolutely fall apart tender. I've had them both ways. Had the first way that I talked about pretty much my entire life, and then when I met my beautiful wife, her dad did it the other way. And I do like putting a nice little sear on these usually, if I can, right before we put them in the pan for simmering. Sometimes can't do that, especially on a drum, because then you got to get really, really hot, and it's hard to calm that fire back down. So I'm just trimming off a little bit of excess fat. A lot of people don't do that. It's up to you. A lot of fat on these, obviously. Got a nice sharp knife, makes things a whole lot easier. Some silver skin, a bunch of fat. I'll never render off. And I'm not worried about if these are small or not, because when you go to take them out of the pan, they're going to fall apart anyway. So we're cooking about 5.5 pounds worth of pork steaks today. We've got a couple friends coming over. We're going to have a couple beers. It's kind of what we do in the summer. It's July, it's 96 degrees outside. Doesn't stop us here in St. Louis. We're firing up the smokers. It's just all fat. As far as a rub, if you guys haven't gone over and checked out How to Barbecue Right with Malcolm Reed, he seems like a super nice guy, and I went ahead and bought some of his products, and I really, really like BBQ rub on pork. It is just absolutely phenomenal. If you do ribs with it, the color it puts off is just insane. It's great for competition or backyard, and it's not very expensive. So go over and check his channel out. When I was first getting into competition cooking, Malcolm has a lot of videos on how to prepare things for competition cooks, and it's very helpful and useful. Really great channel over there. Just about got these all trimmed. I'm going to leave some fat on there. I'm not going to take absolutely all of it. This one looks pretty good. This is kind of what you would get, you know, if you're just going to sear it. This would kind of burn and be gross. You just kind of, you know, eat around it, which is why I prefer to smoke them. Cut some of this stuff off and just have the good stuff left. There we go. I'll toss these back over there. Get rid of this fat real quick. We'll season these up. Try and keep a clean hand. Okay, some people don't use binders, some people do. Some people for oil, some people like Worcestershire sauce. On pork, you'll never taste it. I just use plain old yellow mustard, and not very much of it, just a little bit. There we go. Come on now. There we go. That'll be enough for both sides, I guarantee it. Come on. There it is. Over nicely. Let's get this knife out of here. And season pretty generously with the rub. All that red, beautiful color already. There we go. One down. Do one more on camera, just in case you somehow missed that. Mustard, both sides. Wonderful rub. All ready to go. I'll finish this up and I'll meet you guys back over at the Ugly Drum. Alright everybody, what you can see in front of you is your typical charcoal starter, but instead of using newspaper and taking up to a half hour to get the coals nice and gray, I happen to have this little propane tank and a propane burner here, so we're going to fire that up. We'll get these coals going right away. So while the coals are getting ready, I figured I'd show you guys what we're actually going to be using as fuel. Today we're using just standard Kingsford briquettes, and we've got some peach wood. I know a lot of people can't get a hold of peach wood. It's not an overwhelming smoke character. It's kind of light and subtle and mellow, but it's perfect on something like a pork steak. And inside of the drum, got a little charcoal basket, and that is still about, let's say a quarter full from the last time I smoked. The drum is really, really efficient at burning fuel, so that's good enough for about, with the minion method and a little bit of coals on top and a few pieces of wood, we're going to get easily 4.5 to 5 hours out of that. No problem at 225, 235, and so as far as temperature goes. So it'll be perfect. We'll get that inside of the inside of the drum. We'll get the coals put right on top as soon as they're ready. A couple chunks, maybe 3-4 chunks of peach hardwood, of peach wood, and we'll close it up and let it come up to temperature. Alright everyone, the smoker's been heated to 250. I'm actually going to back that down just a little bit once I get the steaks on. And look at that. Just wonderful. As my teammate Steve would say, these pork steaks are going to be as good as your mama on Christmas. I believe he's going to be right about that. One little slab. Well, perfect. Let's shut this down. Back the temperature down to about 225, 235. We're going to let them smoke for 45 minutes. I think it's time for a beer. Hey everyone, the pork steaks have been smoking now for just under an hour. They look really good. We're going to pop this open, and our next step, we're going to take a pan. We've got some sauce here. Now this is just a basic sauce. Okay? If you want to do it real St. Louis style, you're just going to cover this with a bunch of Mall's sauce, but I really don't like Mall's sauce. I love everything about my city except for, well, Mall's sauce pretty much. So what we're going to do, or what I did was, I took some really basic barbecue sauce. You know, you can use open pit, you could use like Walmart's Great Value, something where you can get a lot of sauce for very little money, and then just sort of modify it yourself to your taste. So I've added some sriracha, little Worcestershire sauce, some crushed red pepper flake, and then I diluted it with a little bit of beer and some juice. I have kids, so whatever juice we happen to have in the house. Right now we've got like a peach mango type of a juice. So I diluted it with that. Just started adding spice to taste, and I really like it. So we're going to get these off of the drum. We're going to get them into the pan. We're going to cover them with all the sauce. We're going to wrap it up in foil real tight and toss it right back on the smoker. Let me get you guys over here. You can check this out. Those are looking really, really good. You see lots of juice still on top of there. Had a couple probes in there. One just to check the temperature of the heat, and it was actually right on with my little cheap $6 thermometer I got from Ace Hardware. And another one just inside the meat because it's a dual probe unit, so why not use it? Wasn't actually really worried about the temperature of the meat though. It's gonna cook itself right in the juice. So let me see if I can get some gloves on here. I always like to work with nitrile gloves. They're inexpensive, it's about $6 for a box of these. They're for food handling. You keep your hands clean, you know? Man, that peach wood still smells really, really good. Right. Take you guys over to the pan. There we go. Just a big old roasting pan. Lay down some of the sauce here. And if I don't have enough, I'll go and make a little bit more before I cover it in foil. Should be pretty close. Oh my goodness. Just looks wonderful. That rub makes everything such a pretty red color. Just excellent. Now, if you didn't want to simmer them, what you could do from here, build your fire up really big, and do it old school St. Louis style, and you'd go ahead and sear them over direct heat, and sauce them, and they would cut and eat them a little bit more like a regular steak. But I want that tenderness. I'm looking for that all-out, tender, wonderful, wonderful fall-apart pork goodness. Cover these up in some sauce. Yep, looks like I'm going to have plenty. Alright. There we go. Alright. So, back in here. I have flies buzzing around. Wait for my food. Get some foil. A real tight seal. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I have two shelves inside of this. Sorry guys. I have two shelves inside of this this drum. Okay. So I'm going to pull the top shelf out. That's where all the meat was before. And I'm going to lower down the meat in the pan so they get a little bit higher temperature down there. That way it starts to cook just a little bit faster. The top grate was sitting right around 225, 235. The one below it's sitting right around 250, 260. So since we're done with smoking, we're just looking to get them tenderized. Out of here. There we go. Bring you guys back over. Oops, sorry. Sorry about the shakiness. Trying to give you guys as much good footage as I can for my first go round. Basket of porky goodness. And we're going to set our clock for about another 3 hours. In 3 hours we'll pull them back out, we'll see how they look, and we'll plate them up. Hey everybody, it's been about 3.5 hours. These guys have been simmering under foil in the pan. It's been holding right around 300 degrees. Let's pull this back and see what we got here. Look at that. Simmering away. They look gorgeous, bright red, bubbly goodness. Let's see if I can get it off the smoker and take it over to the table, and we'll see how tender they are. Be right back. Alright, we're over at the table. Look at this. Pulls apart. Just absolutely magnificent. You smell some smoke, you just grab this thing. Oh, it just pulls right off the bone. These things are just wonderful. Bones pull right out. You can make a sandwich out of this. Like we're going to do, we're just going to put it on a plate with some delicious sides. Look at that, guys. If you've never tried stainless pork steaks, give it a shot. I know most of you haven't heard about it, but just a wonderful, wonderful piece of meat. Cooks really easy. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could have stopped the smoking and simmering process, put it over some high heat, and really seared it, made it cut like a steak. You've got lots of options with this. All the different sauces in the world, various rubs. This is what we're going to enjoy. And I can't wait. Let me drink a beer with you guys real quick, and I'm going to get to eating some dinner. Be right back. Alright guys, let's check out how we did. Look at that. Just wonderful. Bright red, gorgeous color, lots of sauce. Can't wait to dig into this. Still very hot. Juicy. So tender. Oh man. You get that big rub character from the BBQ rub from Malcolm. Go check him out. Sauce is right where I like it. Lots of nice, pleasant background smoke character. You guys haven't tried St. Louis style pork steaks. You just don't know what you're missing. Man. You can make that into a sandwich. Eat it how it is. You could have cut off the simmering maybe an hour, hour and a half ago. Tossed them over high heat, seared it, really caramelized that sauce right around it. Made it more like a steak. Absolutely top notch. I think it's time for me to drink a beer though. Oh, 96 degrees out right now. That tastes really, really good. So thanks for tuning in to the MotherPorkers Barbecue channel. This is our first video, and it's very much appreciated that you guys stay through the whole thing. If you've never tried stainless style pork steaks, like I said, you got to give it a shot. Go ask your butcher. They'll know how to cut them, how to get them to you. You can trim up as much as you want to. You don't have to trim up a lot. You can trim fat off, whatever. You know, there's lots of different options with this, which is what I like. You can make it a sandwich, you can make it a steak, you can sear it, you can simmer it, you can smoke it. They're really adaptable to how you want to do your backyard barbecue. And, you know, they work well on pretty much any cooker. You could put them on an offset. You could put them on, you know, a drum like I did. You could put them on your Weber. You could put them on your square kind of, you know, standard $35, you know, big box store type of a grill. They work really well. And you'll be able to find a way to make them very tasty, and they're so adaptable that you can put any type of a sauce or rub or anything like that, and they're going to taste just terrific. So definitely give them a shot. Anybody who wants to know more about the Ugly Drum Smoker, go over to Daddy Cook's channel, Phil. He's got a great tutorial on how he built his smoker, and he seems like a great guy. He makes lots of different kinds of foods. Go check him out. And definitely go over to Malcolm's channel, How to Barbecue Right. His rub is just phenomenal. I've yet to try some of his other products, but I can't wait to do so. So next time on the MotherPorkers Barbecue channel, we'll have more meat for you, and if you don't want it, we'll give it to your mom. Cheers, guys.